Thank you so much for doing this very spontaneous interview with me. And I think it's really funny to tell the story how we ended up here, because I don't actually have a podcast, but
Now you do.
now I do.
Yeah.
I started one. But I think it was like you were doing a webinar. You're the webinar king of the Netherlands. We're both actually Dutch. And I think you just launched your new book, Internet Fasting. And I ordered it. I love the book. I think I read it in like 2 days. Very big font, so you can just read it super easily. And I got inspired because on the webinar you said something like, hey, you can give it to your friends. You can inspire people to be less on the internet. And of course, as online entrepreneurs, we spend a ton of time on the internet. And then I was in the US giving it to people. And I think you love that so much that it's kind of stuck into your mind. And yeah, we ended up here.
Yeah, it's so funny because I've been thinking about this recording is that because I haven't done a podcast interview in maybe like 5 or 6 years or so.
Wow. Oh,
And
honor.
it's funny because have we met before or no?
No. But it feels like that.
Yeah, and it's I have a very positive association with you because yes, you bought my book and you handing it out to people here in the US. I did my event, I think last month or the month before, and I think you took like 35 people or something like that, maybe 45 people to my event. And you really stand out because we've never met and you've been doing so many amazing things that for me, it's a total no-brainer. Like, yeah, of course we're going to do this interview. So thank you for everything you've been doing in the last couple of months. It really stood out. And it's a fascinating thing because like my network, like I have an amazing network and I have amazing friends. A lot of my best friends are here in the US. And if I go back, like how I became friends with them, it's all because I started with giving first. A lot of my friends they're big names, they're awesome people, and like a lot of people want something from them. And I was just really a cool person for a long period, and then you become friends. And I'm thinking about that often, is that not that many people do that to me. A lot of people want to connect with me or want something or whatever. But if I look at the creativity and people really going out of their way to really connect, it doesn't happen that often, and you really stand out. I think from everything that happened in the last 20 years that people want to connect with me, I think you're at the top.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, and it's just smart as well. It's like, it's just smart. So I get it.
And have you done something similar? Have you done something crazy to connect with people?
Crazy.
Or maybe you saw the value. Like I knew this would be valuable to you as well.
Yeah.
Because like content in English for a US audience would be valuable.
Yeah.
The event, of course, I wasn't even at the event,
No.
which is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, and that's also why you stood out. Like, okay, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
So if you ask me the question, like, have you ever done something? Like, one thing comes to mind, and I've done a lot of stuff, but I watched a movie. It's called Supermensch. It's a movie. It's about Shep Gordon. Shep Gordon is a very famous manager here in the U.S., and he's a manager of Alice Cooper and a lot of big bands. And he is the most amazing storyteller, and he is one of the most inspiring people you'll ever meet. And it was a Netflix documentary. This is back in 2017, and I watched this documentary, and it's about him, but also about him in Maui. So he has this unbelievable place in Maui, and that place is it's almost like a sacred place. Like the Dalai Lama stayed over there, and like all these big names, they stayed over there because it's a safe space for famous people. And if you watch that movie, and it's funny because the movie is not available anymore on Netflix, but if you watch that movie, you'll be like, or at least I was like, I want to be with that guy, and I want to go to that place because that's a magical place. And then a couple months later, I got an email, a random email, that he is about to launch his book. And if you buy 500 copies of that book, he will invite you to have dinner in Maui, on Maui. He'll make dinner for you and 5 friends. So I buy 500 books, and I was like, what am I going to do with the books? After a couple of weeks, for whatever reason, the movie is not on Netflix anymore. So like, it really didn't have that much value, those books. And then I was like, what am I going to do? And I rented a church on the Amsterdam canals. And I put on social media, like, hey, we're going to watch this amazing movie. It's called Supermensch. And you can come for free as my guest. Just sign up. And then within a couple of days, we had 500 people going to the church in Amsterdam, and those 500 people, they got in the church. On every chair there was a book, because I had the 500 books, and we watched the movie with the 500 people. And then the day after, we flew to Maui and we had dinner with Shep Gordon. But I actually took, for example, Dean Jackson. Dean Jackson is one of my best friends. And I took him because he was also a big fan of Supermensch. And I took Kevin and some other really amazing friends to that place. So if you're talking about going out of your way to really connect with people, I think it's just really going out of your way and doing some things that are extraordinary, but not crazy. Like it's what you've done. I see, like, well, not really. Like what you've done, it doesn't, for you, it might not feel like crazy or huge or whatever. And even that, it just stands out. And now we're here. So it's a network. I'm not a great networker, as in, like, I'm not super extroverted. I might not make the biggest impression when we have a conversation. Maybe I do. Hopefully I do a little bit. But really going out of your way and just doing cool stuff and just adding value first and don't expect anything in return, I think that's a really good way to create an amazing network and an amazing group of friends.
Exactly. I think there's this other story. I think it was a founder of Spotify, and he was trying to launch the app, and he really liked Gary Vee, and Gary Vee had a big moment. He was like, how am I going to send this email, right? Because everybody's like in your inbox asking for things, and it's not that special. And I think he just launched the book Crush It, and it was nearly hitting like a #1 position, and it was like 3,000 something books. And he just emailed, can I have 3,635 books, and I want to order them. And that's kind of how they started working together. So I think it's like also being like more creative, because I also have an appointment setting business. So I'm always like thinking, if I'm reaching out to somebody, most of the times for myself, I don't actually want something in return. But if I would do it for business purposes, you always have to be creative.
Yeah. One of my big regrets, I've never shared this in public, but I actually, at that time when Gary Vee was launching that book, I wanted to buy 500 of his books and to have a lunch. So if you bought 500 books, you get a lunch with Gary Vee. So I was like, okay, let's do it. I'll buy 500 books. And then they were trying to compress the lunch into 45 minutes. And I was like, you know, what can you do in 45 minutes? It could be even 100 books. I don't know, but at least 100, could be 500 books. And then I was like, you know what? Never mind. Like, I'm not gonna like going really out of my way just for 45 minutes, but could have been a life-changing lunch and I didn't go.
And it's always those things, right?
Yeah.
Even this was like, you were like, can you do Saturday? I was like, Saturday? That's like in 3 days. And then it's like, just do it, and you never know what happens.
Do you have like, is there a difference for you on a Saturday or a Wednesday?
Not at all, no.
No, okay.
No.
Just checking.
I work mostly, I just work when I like to work, and like if I take Wednesday off, I take Wednesday off.
Yeah.
And I think it's really funny because you have Alex Hormozy now, which everybody, you know, looks up to, buys his book lunch, and he's like work 24/7. And then you have you, which is like full freedom, contradicts. So I like having that polarity, I guess, in my life.
Yeah, same, because I can relate to him in a lot of ways. I like to be productive, and I like to get a lot of stuff done, and I like to like move mountains, and I like to have a lot of white space and a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
And so it's even with Gary Vee, I can relate to him as well. And a lot of people would say like we're total opposites, but in a strange way, I can relate to him.
And I guess you have to also feel like what works for you, because sometimes everybody has the productivity hack. Like even some of your methods in the book, I'm like, probably right now, like in my life, it wouldn't work for me, but there's always something you can take, and like you have to have your own taste in things and try things out.
Yeah, same with my book. Like there's many things probably in my book right now that are not for me right now. You know, it just depends on the phase that you're in and where you're at in life. So.
And do you believe like in, like a lot of people have like seasonality, like living seasons?
Totally.
Okay.
Oh, 100%.
What's your season now then?
My season now, at least that's my intention, is, and that's also sort of like why we're here, is it's funny, I'm in a group, it's called Genius Network, and I go there a couple times a year. And there was a guy who gave a presentation a couple of weeks ago, and he gave out, how do you say, a pendant? Some, you know, where you can, what is it? No, anyway, it doesn't matter. He gave away necklaces with a pendant, and you can write something on it. And so so you had to write down your mantra. And a lot of people like wrote down beautiful things like love, happiness, gratitude, whatever. And I wrote down 3 words, and it's just do, as in like just go, and don't overthink it. Just be in the game, but also be in the moment. I'm very inspired when it comes to content now. Like we recorded 70 videos 2 days ago. Like it's just I really like am in this phase where I have this desire to be extremely prolific, not necessarily for the output, but also for me just getting it out there and putting it out there and getting it out of me and finding my voice. And so for me, the season that I'm in right now is just really, really being prolific when it comes to creation. I want to launch a lot of books. I'm launching journals, the videos. Like we started on Threads 2 weeks ago, and we have our first 1 million views now on Threads. Reels, we're doing a lot of reels. I mean, I haven't even started yet. And so I'm in this phase right now of doing. And it's funny if I go back, 2004, completely different situation. But in 2004, I had this profound insight. 2004 for me was a year where I was just learning and lurking, and there was this forum online where you could learn about online marketing. It's called the Warrior Forum, and I was buying ebooks and this and that, and it was a completely new world for me, the whole online marketing world. And I noticed even in that time in 2004, like, wow, this internet thing is awesome, but it's also very addictive. And I made the decision. It's a simple decision, but okay, in 2005, I'm going to do 2 things or 3 things. One is I'm going to run a marathon, which was like impossible at the time because I couldn't run for 1 mile. But I was like, okay, in 7 months, I'm going to run a marathon. And the second thing is I'm going to do in 2005. And the third thing is I'm not going to consume anything while I'm behind my laptop. At that time, there was no iPhone. There wasn't even YouTube. There was no Facebook. All that stuff didn't exist. But I was already aware of the damaging impact of consuming stuff on the internet. So I made the decision to do. And in 2005, I launched myself. So I launched Eelco de Boer. I never branded myself online. I was the second person in the Netherlands selling ebooks. So I started selling ebooks in 2005. I launched PayPro, which is a payment service provider. And we had an exit a couple months ago to a big Chinese multi-billion-dollar business. I launched eNormal, which is an email marketing software company. I think I launched 50 to 60 things in 2005 compared to nothing in 2004. And it was all because of this mantra, do. And so for me right now, I feel like it's like a full circle moment where I have like all white space. My calendar is all white space. And I really am inspired to just go out there and do without adding pressure, but also without overthinking and just going for it.
I think that's unique now with like reels, constantly scrolling. Then you have the TikTok generation.
Yeah.
I think you're one of the only people I know that just creates and is productive. Even myself, I'm like, I'm on my phone too much. You know what I mean? Of course. And it's a lot harder now, I guess, than like in 2004. They make it really hard. So you have to have app blockers, all of that.
Yeah.
So is there anything you could share with people where you're like, this is like, if you would do this, it would already change a lot for you?
What I would suggest, and it sounds kind of extreme, and it's actually this is the worst pitch for my book, but it's not in my book.
Oh, God.
So my book is called Internet Fasting, How to Fast from the Internet, spend less time on the internet. But there's one of the things that I started doing like maybe 6 months or so, is I actually have 3 phones. And so my first phone is my Joy phone. And in my Joy phone, it only has people that I really appreciate. And whenever they send me a message, I could never be triggered because it's just people who bring joy. It doesn't have social media. It doesn't have my email. It doesn't have my banking app. It doesn't have all that stuff. It just has like my one phone number and people that I truly love and that inspire me. They have access to my Joy phone. So that's my first phone. My second phone is my business phone. And my business phone, it has all my business contacts. So it has my team, my clients, maybe some old friends that, doesn't necessarily bring me joy. So that's my business phone, and it has my email, it has my my banking app, it has whatever, just the business stuff. So that's my business phone, and then I have my third phone, and that's my social media phone. And preferably during the day, the first phone that I actually switch on to the internet is my Joy phone, because I can wake up and if I want to, I can switch it on immediately, and there's nothing that will trigger me. And I'll use this phone for the first couple of hours of the day, and it's all the same Apple ID. So if you work in Notes, for example, or if you work in Google Docs or whatever, everything is syncing between those three phones.
That's smart.
All the pictures are the same, all the audios, everything is the same. So my Joy phone, like I can switch it on, I can be productive without being distracted. And then oftentimes after a couple of hours, I switch on my business phone. And then, I get my emails and my business WhatsApp or whatever. I can pay an invoice, whatever it is. And then, during the day, maybe 3, 4, 5 p.m., whenever you have an energy dip, then you can switch on the social media apps, and then you browse and doom scroll a little bit. So I think the biggest hack is to have at least 2 phones, but preferably 3 phones. And it's just a game changer. And it sounds like a lot, as in, oh, that's a lot of work, or that's extreme or whatever. But I have this belief that if you do this, you will actually have way less screen time, because there's no addiction on my Joy phone. There's no addiction on my business phone, no real addiction on my business phone. Yeah, social media, it's so hard to it's almost impossible. Also for me, if I would have, for example, social media on my Joy phone, or if I would have everything on one phone, forget about it. I'll do nothing.
Yeah.
I'll just scroll and be distracted and be semi-inspired and frustrated that I'm not doing anything.
I think I don't know, like I follow like 100 people or something, so that really helps. And I'm not like a scroller, but one thing I'll do is like constantly work. So that's my downfall.
Yeah.
And now with the mentorship, I have like one-on-one clients. So it's quite full on, they text you at 10 o'clock. So I'm thinking like, okay, what would be your advice? Because I know you have Jeffrey, I text him a lot because he's like your right-hand man. Everything goes through him, and then you send me a voice note, but he sends it to me. So it's quite funny because you have these walls built.
Yeah.
What would you advise me to do with one-on-one clients?
Advice as in how, like
how to structure it, I guess. Yeah, I think I'm the problem. I know I'm the problem. They are not the problem.
Well, I think the good news is that you're not a scroller. Like I would definitely identify as a scroller. It's good that you're a worker. Like it's way better to just work hard. There's nothing wrong with working hard, and I have this feeling with you that you actually enjoy it as well. Like you're ambitious and you want to grow, and you probably want to crush it. So I think that's a good thing. Very tactical. I would get an extra phone just for your clients. Yeah. So just get an extra phone number. How many one-on-one clients do you have?
Like 7.
7.
Yeah.
How many would you like to have?
Yeah, so my ideal is like 4, but I'm getting a lot of offers, and my problem is like some of these offers is like currently big names in the US, 2 million followers, and I'm like, okay, I'll do some consulting, and then I make this custom thing for them, and like I have to watch out to not, stick to the offer sometimes. But I think I heard your advice once, and it was something like, you have to be open for things. And I've been very open since January, and like everything has been flying.
That's
like,
amazing.
Yeah, so it's just finding the boundaries, I guess.
I think I just take an extra phone with an extra phone number only for your clients. So, you can, because your one-on-one, is it Zoom calls or is it asynchronous?
Asynchronous.
Yeah, that's perfect. If it's asynchronous, you just get an extra phone, and whenever you probably, like for me, you can do the asynchronous stuff whenever you're not inspired. In a strange way, like sometimes that's nice. Like, I don't have inspiration, just click on play, like listen to a voice note, and you get triggered again in a positive way. Yeah. Or you can do the asynchronous messaging while walking, or maybe on a treadmill, or whatever it is, or maybe when you have space, whatever it is for you. But I would highly suggest get an extra phone.
I think that was a realization because I started like 6 years ago with coaching, and I have a B2C company, so that's very much course, calls, promises, onboarding. And then I was like, okay, when I start with the B2B, I want to do it my way, and I actually don't really love calls, only when I'm inspired. And like, it's more it's not even the calls, it's I know every Wednesday, or sometimes you have one in the morning, one in the day, and then in the middle, I just feel like completely lost.
I mean, you can't do anything.
No, you
No.
can't really do anything.
No.
So I think you currently do something with like voice note coaching. I think that's very new.
Yeah, and it's the best because it's you can literally listen to it whenever you feel inspired or uninspired, whenever you like to. And that phone I just switch it on like once every 10 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because or maybe once a week, because in the offer it's like I'll respond to you within a week, so I'll open it up once a week usually, and then afterwards I just shut it off. And so yeah, it's get an extra phone, get 7 phones if you need to.
I will. And I think a lot of people are waking up to it, because I know a couple of my friends, hard workers, and they stick to all of the promises, and they stick probably to the expectations of like what should coaching be or what should consulting be.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to let that go, and it's like, where am I most useful?
Yeah.
And that's probably voice notes,
Yeah.
text, or whatever is needed really.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also seen that every client needs something different. So
Yeah.
I started looking at my offers like, what do you need? So actually I start with them, and then I kind of like look at their business, and I'm like, you actually need marketing advice. And the other person is like, it's actually you. You are the problem. So
Yeah.
let's work on that. So
Yeah.
that's why I started doing one-on-one, because it just started feeling like if I do a program, it doesn't fit with everybody.
No.
They won't get results. You know what I mean? So
No, it's true. I think it's funny. We recorded a lot of videos this week, and we did this overrated, underrated thing. I know it's a little bit of a gimmick, but it's funny. And Bob asked me the question like, group programs or one-on-one. I was like, well, I would definitely go for one-on-one. I have a group, and it's awesome, and I'll expand the group, and but I think one-on-one is underrated, because it's really custom made. It's fun, it's inspiring, especially what you're saying, like, oh, you have big names, they want to work with you. Like, not only are you helping them, they're inspiring you as well, and they're giving you so many ideas, and you get so many perspectives. And if for whatever reason there's a one-on-one client that's not an amazing fit, you can just quit.
yeah.
But if you have a group, it's hard to go, to have a really great group. It takes years to really go through it, and then you have a culture, and then you have a thing. But it's not easy. So I think one-on-one is, I don't do it anymore. I have almost no one-on-one clients anymore. However, I do think it's, and the reason is because I just want to do. I want to be prolific. I want to create. But I think it's an amazing business model. And especially if you're at the top, and if you're doing premium pricing, and if you have amazing clients, it's really awesome.
Because you are one of the highest paid mentors probably in our country.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I think that's very inspiring. I think it's also like what type of person are you? Because I figured like I like deep connections, I like conversations, and that's why I really struggled in the group program or in the group community. Like the business was growing, but every time I actually shut a few businesses down.
Yeah.
It's like, why do I feel burned out?
Mm-hmm.
And like a lot of people are like, I'm burned out because I work too hard.
Yeah.
But I actually figured out it's like I'm lacking depth.
Yeah.
I'm lacking that.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I got into this astrology, numerology. I don't know if you know of these things, but if you look into it, you can actually look and see what fits you. And a couple of my friends, it's actually community, or it's actually group, or it's something like that. And mine, like group, was completely empty. It's completely empty. And I was like, okay, now I actually do know. I confirmed that I should be focusing on the person.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And do you think with the voice note coaching, that's the only thing you're still doing right now?
I'm doing it right now. I'm not sure if I'll continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I just like to, I like to have nothing on my schedule, like 0 obligations. And even with this, it's something that I have to do. I mean, of course I get to do it, but and I enjoy it for now, but I'm not sure if I'll continue doing it.
It's also refreshing that I actually made this reel the other day, and I said something like, you can say yes to things and you can start doing things, or you can start doing voice notes. You never know, but you can also not do it anymore. Like you can say yes to a client and you can refund them. And I think a couple of people needed to hear that, because I actually had a client and I was like, it looked great, but after a week I was like, I'm being really drained. It's not them, it's just like it's not working. And then currently I'm in the position where like keep your money
Yeah.
because it's actually affecting everybody else. Like it's actually affecting my partner, at home. It's affecting all my other clients.
Yeah.
And I think, a lot of people need to learn that you can quit things, you can stop the business.
Oh, and preferably as soon as possible. Like you noticed it within a week. Imagine doing it after 3 months.
Yeah,
Like the damage is already done.
exactly. You're
Yeah.
depleted, so, you're not inspired anymore.
I think intuition, I mean, this sounds so simple, but it's so underrated as well. Like really knowing like, oh, this is for me or this is not for me. And if you know like, oh, this is not for me, just, okay, like we're done. Like, thank you, but we're not working anymore together or we're not a right match or whatever. And a lot of people, they miss that intuition and then they start to think their way through and think that, yeah, well, maybe if we try this or whatever, but it really is, intuition is it's so powerful and so important.
Trying to fix something that is not working. I think
it's
a lot
fun.
of people try to do that.
I put in my Telegram channel, I think yesterday, like a lot of people, they are trying to fix relationships that shouldn't even be. So, and a relationship could be a client, could be a business partner, could be a relationship, like a romantic relationship, could be a friend. We invest a lot of time in fixing things that shouldn't even be.
Yeah, I think it's very refreshing. You also travel a lot.
Yeah.
Is that also because you're like a new energy or like new beginnings? What is the reason you're constantly moving?
Yeah, I like to move constantly, apparently. Now with Miami, I'm so happy that we're going to Austin on Monday. I love Miami, but I'm so happy that we're going to Austin on Monday. And after 2 weeks of Austin, I'm so happy that we're going back to Amsterdam probably.
Yeah.
And then in Amsterdam, like I'm so happy after a month that we can like I like to move around and match places that match my energy. Go to places that match my energy in that moment. And I don't want to stay too long in the same place. And so I think that's a big part of it.
Especially if you start, right? When I started working online, I think 6 years ago, everybody was like, what are you doing? Like, I started with appointment setting. What is appointment setting?
Yeah.
And people were making fun of me. It was pretty bad. And I'm the type of person that is just like, whatever, you know what I mean? But I just bought a house in the Netherlands. I was 21, so pretty young. And after 10 months, me and my partner were like, this really sucks.
Yeah.
Like, we're very young. This doesn't work. So we sold the house.
Yeah.
I think we moved to Dubai and then lived there for a year. And then we moved to Spain. And like now we're in Miami. Probably we'll go back to Spain. So very similar to you. And I feel like after a couple months, I'm like not inspired anymore. And it's like a little bit of an addiction, probably. It's like new energy. I have different places for different things. So Spain is like a lot calmer here. In Miami, I feel like I'm always like grinding, working.
Yeah.
So that's also the environment, I guess.
Yeah, it's nice to have like certain places that feel like home. So we have multiple places in the world that feel like home. We have a place now here in close to Miami. It's called North Bay Village, and we have a home that we've been multiple times. And then in Amsterdam, we have 2 homes actually in Amsterdam. And yeah, we'll now in Austin we have a sort of a home. We've been there multiple times, or not one time before, but it's super nice. And so I like to have like a homey vibe in different places in the world. And so it's not that I want to move all the time. It's just whatever feels right in the moment. That's the decision that we're going to make. And I like a little bit of flexibility.
Yeah. Is there anything currently you're like very excited about? Is it like a lot of people are excited about AI? I barely use it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm ashamed to say it, but I just feel like I sometimes feel it's just stupid. Like it's making mistakes and I just get frustrated. So I'm like, let me not use this right now.
Yeah. No, I'm super excited about the content game. That's what I'm most excited about. And I just had this stupid realization that even with this, like it's like we have an hour or whatever.
Yeah.
And yes, I had to go here, and yes, like this is a little bit different because this is a studio, and also it was scheduled during the day, so you're thinking about this, and so it actually takes a couple of hours to record this 1 hour.
Yeah.
But overall, if you have an insight and you share this insight, you just grab your iPhone and you start recording, and it's in that moment your best stuff because it's fresh. And if the video is 34 minutes, then it took you 34 minutes to create that video. And the way I perceive it right now is that it's a part of a collection that I'm building. And so if I'm inspired today and I record this 34-minute video on my iPhone or whatever, that's a part of my collection that I'm building for the next 10 years. And so I had this realization that creating content doesn't really take a lot of time. It's actually the experience that takes a lot of time. And so for me to, for example, teach about internet fasting, it's not me sharing a video for an hour doesn't take a lot of time. Like really applying that whole principle for like 18 years took a lot of time. Yeah. And so I think content creation, especially if you are a little bit of a philosopher or a business thinker or a critical thinker, or it's just the easiest thing, but the charge that we add to it or the meaning that we add to it or whatever, that makes it hard and that makes it heavier. But if you're comfortable on camera and if you're comfortable speaking, then it's actually just, it doesn't really take a lot of time. It actually almost takes no time. Like if we probably, after this conversation, we'll probably talk for another 30 minutes or an hour. If you talk to somebody for 30 minutes or an hour about a topic, just record like 30 minutes or an hour. And then you're building the collection. So yeah, I'm really inspired right now in just building my collection, but also finding my voice and being more and more and more comfortable in teaching, preaching, sharing, just being, also bringing my energy into the world. I think, especially, and you're talking about AI, but I think especially in the next couple of years, next couple of decades, like personal brand is everything. Yeah. And it's not about the amount of followers that you have, because everybody can get a lot of followers.
Buy them. Yeah.
Buy them or whatever, like being goofy or do stuff. Yeah, really being yourself authentically, sharing that with the world, also sharing your unique energy with the world. Yeah. People who resonate with you, I think that's the big game to play.
I think in my experience, I wasn't ready for content until this year. So there's also, maybe you have to be, like you said, completely yourself and kind of feel like you have enough knowledge to share. So I have a couple of friends and I'm like, please start making content, you know? I really try to push them. And I actually want to say to everybody, create content, but I kind of disagree. It's like, do you have like something valuable to share? Yeah. Otherwise, build the skills. Like content is also a skill, I'm noticing. But it's like a lot of people maybe start with content, and I meet a lot of names or influencers here, especially in Miami. They have so much followers, but they make zero money. Yeah. And it's like, you did it the wrong way. Yeah. You did it around. You have
they're a slave to the algorithm.
Yes.
Yeah. And they have to perform in a certain way to get some results. And I don't know, if you can really, truly be honestly and authentically yourself and have people resonate with that, that's a superpower.
Yeah, and I think as well, you don't have a ton of followers, but like a lot of people know you, right? And that's also because you have an interesting perspective, you have an interesting take, like you're not like everybody else. So I think that's really important. You have to be yourself and you have to have some type of take or life experience in doing something different. And then it's like a lot of content. It's a lot of producing. Yeah. So even having somebody walk around, like you said, if you're here in the studio and you're going home, if somebody would be recording you, it's probably another...
It's a great piece of content.
It's a great piece
probably, because I'll get an insight after this conversation. And it's funny, we had a really famous influencer speak at one of my events 7 years ago. And this influencer, we paid her like 2,000 euros to come to our event to come speak. And I think at that time she had close to 1 million followers in the Netherlands, which is huge. Like it's crazy. It's almost like all of the Netherlands. And then a couple of weeks later, I saw that she had an interview in a magazine. And in the interview, she said like, it's my goal within the next 5 years to become a millionaire. It's like, wow, you have 1 million followers and it's your goal to, in 5 years, to make 1 million. It's like, you can have so many followers and you can still be broke and be struggling.
And I think a lot is the mindset around money. Sometimes I go on a call and I'm like, let's just make up a number, just try it. And then somebody's like, yes. And then I was like, it was too low.
Oh, yeah.
It was too low.
Yeah.
That was too easy. So I think, but that's like when I was 21, I was like 22, I think I did my first million.
What's the biggest deal you've closed?
Not that big, actually. I think like 15K.
15?
Yeah.
What's needed to close a 500,000 euro deal?
That's a really good question. Probably like a lot of focus on one thing or like a lot of one-on-one commitment. Probably because I do rev share right now with a couple of clients, and that's definitely where I make most of my money. Not on the one-on-one 3, 4 months, 6 months, because then it compounds. So I've seen that if you work with somebody for 3 months, there's only so much you can do. So I actually advise people like take the 1 year or take the 6 months, because you start here, then you have one problem and it will snowball.
Yeah.
And all the companies that I advise in, I don't spend that much time on them. It's maybe 1 hour a day, sometimes 30 minutes, sometimes not even.
Yeah.
But it's the being inside the Slack or being inside and spotting the problems.
Yeah.
That will compound. And then if you have revenue share, it's like owning your own business, but then inside somebody else's business.
Yeah.
So that's currently my money model that works best.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to think like, how could I close 500K and
or
not
1
be
million or
involved?
2 million or 3 million. So I think for you, because are you on the phone a lot? Like, do you close deals or not really?
Sales calls sometimes for my offer, yeah.
I would invite you to the idea of the next time when you have a sales conversation, don't even think about what you have to sell, but really being with them and asking them like, okay, what do you need? What would be unbelievable if we would start working together, and then ask them the question like, what are you willing to invest in this? And they might say like, I'm willing to invest $1 million. If you do this, if we can get this results, it's I call this anything to anyone. You can sell anything to anyone, and it's funny with sales, with one-on-one sales, is what we do is we have our product or we have our offer, and then we sell that to the person on the phone. But the person on the phone or the Zoom or whatever, they might be able to pay 50 or 100 times more, and they might be willing and might be excited to pay 50 or 100 times more. But then we come with an offer of 5K or 10K or whatever, and they might even say no to that offer because it's too small.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole anything to anyone idea. And then I have this concept, it's called the one. If you would ask, let's say, single male or single female, let's say a single female, like, okay, do you believe that there is a person in this world that is, and he or she is, let's say she is looking for a romantic partner for the rest of her life. Do you believe there is a man walking around on this planet that's emotionally mature, healthy, financially successful, present, good looking, ambitious, like do you believe that person exists? And 10 out of 10 times people say like, yeah, of course this person exists. If you translate this to business and like, do you believe there's one person in your whole world, in your whole network, in your whole following that is able to, for example, invest $1 million or 2 million or 3 million? Does this person exist? Yes or no? We don't really get there. We think like our audience is all the same in a way, like, oh, they are willing to invest this amount of money. But there might be one person in your audience that really like you and really appreciate you, that might be able to spend more money than all of your other clients combined. And not a lot of people think like this, but especially with one-on-one sales, you are able to close such interesting deals. And I think you're already doing that. Like, you're asking like, what do you really want and how can we, okay, you need mentoring, but you need more like,
I do like consulting, mentoring, and people don't even know the difference, but it's explaining that is also unique. And like if there's a bigger name, maybe that's a mistake, but if there's a bigger name and they come to me, mostly I'm like speed, because most of them they're like 5 months,
Oh no, totally.
Then I'm like 8 weeks, and then they're like, perfect. Can you start today? That's kind of what they want.
Of course.
Yeah.
But even there, like, and now, like, I think you're in this really cool pocket. that big names were coming to you, think even bigger. Like not only bigger, but also newer. Like broaden your horizon. Think bigger, and you might be able to close $1 million deals like next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's already happening for you, like the bigger names, and yeah.
Has a lot to do with journaling, actually. I know you're a big fan, and I started, I think, 2 years ago. Not very perfectly. It really depends on where I am. But if you look back in my journal, there's a couple of things I wrote down. You completely forget them.
Yeah.
You just launch your journals. Of course, I bought them.
Yeah, thank you for that.
And I just wrote a couple of things down, and then, you reread them. And then you're like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
This exactly happened.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't believe in manifesting or something, but it's not even manifesting. It's writing something down, and then you see the opportunity you probably would have missed.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
You have to think it first. You have to come up with it first. And then oftentimes it becomes a reality. But if you don't think about it, then it never happens. It's so simple. And that's why journaling is so powerful, because you can, okay, let me think of some new stuff. I oftentimes say that entrepreneurship, it's like magic. You have this magic wand that you wave, and all of a sudden it's a reality.
Yeah.
Like we're sitting here right now, you came up with the idea, and now we're here, and now we're building a relationship. And it's that simple. It's that simple. But too many people, they don't think big enough, or they don't think new enough. They don't come up with a lot of new ideas. We had a most amazing breakthroughs in business in the last year, 2 times when we were in the hot tub. Last year around this time, we were in the Hamptons in New York, and Bob is in the hot tub and Jeffrey is in the hot tub, and we're just chilling over there, and we ask questions. And a simple question like, okay, what could be the biggest breakthrough for our business? And then all of a sudden, immediately there's an answer, and then you come up with this idea, and bam, it's reality. Like it's okay, let's do this. And so we had one in the Hamptons and one in Mexico, and it's just really coming up with new ideas. I think coming up with new ideas and new visions, it's so important to spend a lot of time there. And I oftentimes talk about think new instead of think bigger. It's easy to say, oh, I'm doing $1 million, let's do 10 million, or we're doing this, let's do more of this. What if you had to start over again, and what if you had to come up with new ideas and new reality, and that's way more exciting oftentimes.
And I think a lot of people look at socials, and then they base their dream life on top of what they see online, right? It's the house, it's the car, it's the $1 million mark. But I personally know you hit it, you forget it. It's not that. It's the moments. It's the enjoying what you do, kind of thing. Yeah. And like if you write down, if you actually sit down, I was in Miami downtown, and you can see a couple of people sitting there. They're 50, 60 years old. They're sitting, drinking their coffee, looking around. And then I'm looking at my generation, and it's just in the phone, like constantly distracted. And I noticed that if I have a week like that, I can't think new. I can't think big. Yep. I actually have to intentionally sit down and look around. And then I'm always like, oh, this is nice. Yeah. It's nice to do nothing sometimes.
And it's funny because we think we can think new because you get all these impulses, but it doesn't do anything. You can see the craziest things and it doesn't do anything. But if you switch off and just be in the moment, and wander a little bit, then you can come up with the most amazing ideas.
And there's also a lot of people with a lot of ideas, but they don't do anything.
That's true. That's why you have to do.
Yeah. And the speed, I guess. If there's one thing I tell my team, and one is like ownership, like do your own stuff, because it really annoys me when you have like a lot of team members, but everybody's like, Meghan, what would you do? Or it's like, then this will never work. No. So like ownership, and the other one is like speed is king or speed is queen, whatever you want to say. But if we have an idea, like execute it, fail. If it doesn't work, scrape it. Another underrated thing, because you build in your business, you build all of these systems and all of these things, but we never look at like what is not working. Can we take it away?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're committed to old ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is one example of things that you stopped doing lately?
Oh my. So much. I can recall This is 2007. 2007, I started to become successful. So 2005, I started do, and then started to make some money. In 2006, things were growing, and in 2007, I sort of hit the sweet spot. So I had this course. It was called the Business in a Box. It was 8 binders, 8 DVDs, and 8 CDs, and it was basically on how to build an online business, how to do ads, how to do email marketing, how to do sales pages, how to do launches, all that stuff. This is 2007. And this box was a 2,000 euro box, and it was selling really well, and I became successful. I was starting doing events in Amsterdam and started selling this box and everything. And I almost had no experience, but I became successful. And then in 2008, I had this mantra. And this mantra was, there's no business without a backend, so you need a backend. And so in 2008, I launched the business so I had the business in a box. Then I launched the 2.0 version. I launched the business in a bag, which was an email marketing course in a travel bag. I thought that was a good idea.
It's very new, yeah.
And we literally got refunds from people who didn't like the bag. I had an entrepreneur starter kit, a 1,000 euro course with binders, DVDs. I had a time management course, which was 12 CDs. Funny. I had a membership. It's called Power Sellers Premium. It's 97 euro membership on how to build an online business. We had Power Goals Premium, which was a 15 euro personal development membership. I had the Momentum Method, which was a 1,000 euro personal development course. I had, this is funny, 2008, I had a dropshipping course. So, and where I was teaching people dropshipping, I was doing dropshipping at that time, 2007, 2008. OG, totally. I just had so many courses. This is maybe half of what I've done in 2008. So I was super prolific. I was working my ass off. It was like crazy. 2007, I think we did €1 million with one box. And 2008, we did maybe 10 launches or 8 launches. And I remember, this is April 2008, we launched a dropshipping course. Worked so hard to create that course, and we only did, on the launch evening, we only did 10 sales of a 2,000 euro course. And I was devastated because we were expecting like at least a couple 100,000 or whatever. It was just, and so my sales went down. I did 10 or 12 or 15 launches. I don't know how many launches I did in 2008. I created so much, and at the end of and plus I built my team from 4 people to 17 people in 1 year. And at the end of the year, I looked at my numbers for the first time in the year, because I was in survival mode. If you go from 4 people to 17 people, and literally there was one good player, and so I just didn't make any money. I mean, I made a lot of money, but I didn't keep any money. I was in debt with taxes. Like it was just bad. And I look at my numbers, and I see, okay, this year we did around 1 million again, compared to last year we did 1 million with one product, and now we did 1 million with maybe 10 or 12 products or whatever, how many products. And I looked at the numbers and I saw like 65 or 70% of all the money came from the product that was sold the year before, which was the business in a box, which was 8 binders, 8 DVDs, 8 CDs. And then I had this realization that first I watched this course from Eben Pagan, which is now a good friend, which was called Get Altitude, and he said C players make A players B players. And I realized, like, wow, I have 17 people in my team, but there's not even a B player there. It's just it's very bad. And so I made the decision, I have to stop with everybody that I hired. My hiring process was very simple. If you would come to me for the interview, I would say, without you saying a word, I would say, you're hired. So tell me, like, what do you do? Like, what do you want to do? Because I thought I could fix anybody. Like, I made 1 million last year. What are you going to tell me? I'll fix you if you're broken, which wasn't the best idea. So I make this decision, like, okay, I'm going to quit with everybody. I have to start over again, and I'm just going to focus on one product again. And then I had to make the decision that, so I had my office was in Groningen, in the north of the Netherlands, and downstairs we had this big room with all the courses. So all those 10 different courses with literally millions of pages and tens of thousands of DVDs and CDs and everything. Like the whole room it was a bigger room than this. It was stacked with all my material, all my creations, my hard work, my blood, sweat, and tears, everything. And I made the decision, I'm gonna delete all of this. And then on a Monday morning, I had a truck coming over and had to pay for it to have somebody catch,
Painful,
yeah, to throw it all away. And we threw away millions of euros of order values. And we just threw it all away. And it was my creations and everything was gone. It was painful and it was liberating at the same time.
Yeah.
And this was 2008. 2008 was stressful. 2007 was awesome. 2009 was bliss. So I started selling one product again, and we traveled for 5 months. I just had one employee, and it was amazing. So if you talk about like reversing decisions, that was a big one. This was a year of my life's work and of my commitment. No business without a back end. To going to like, okay, I don't want a business with a back end. I just want to sell one product, and that's how I came up with this whole idea. In Dutch, I would say a vrijheidsproduct, a freedom product. If you can have one product, you can just sell for years and years and years, and it's a product that's actually good and people actually want to buy, that's when you really crack the code. And so I cracked the code in 2009, and I've been selling that product since then up until now. Of course, we changed it. It's not physical DVDs anymore. It's not physical binders anymore.
Now you save a lot of money.
I save a lot of money,
yeah.
And so I think that's a big example of taking losses. And I truly believe that entrepreneurs, for us, our biggest superpowers can be or is taking losses. If you're able to take losses easily, don't take it too personally, don't get too triggered, I think that's a superpower.
Yeah, I think that's a very big theme in my life, telling that to people. So I started multiple businesses, and once you align, everything goes.
Yeah.
And like sometimes it feels like you're pushing up a stone up the mountain, right? I actually had a client, and like I scale businesses, and she came to me like to scale the business. And I actually told her, you're not gonna love this answer that I'm gonna give you, but this is a 6 out of 10 business, and you have like 11 out of 10 potential. So I would actually break this whole thing down and start over.
Yeah.
And then I was like, let's pause this. Let's like, you figure it out. Like, I'm not going to rebuild your business. It's not my business. And then please come back once you have it, and then we'll scale it. And she was like, I've never had somebody tell me like, pause the consulting, like start. But it's being honest with people as well. Like I could say, okay, fix your marketing, whatever. But the audience was saturated. The offer was too cheap. And we sat down on paper and looked at her profit. I was like, you pay Dutch taxes. It's B2C, like VAT is included. You pay your team and your staff. I was like, what do you make on this product? It was like 100 euros for 6 months of coaching.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And do you want to scale something that's not working?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's probably what I would end it on, to tell people like, are you doing the right thing? You can do a lot of things, and maybe some people want to do new things all the time. Like you said, one freedom product can last you years. And it's also the dopamine of wanting to start new things all the time.
Of course, yeah. That's okay. That's where I'll end it. Can't help myself. Is that if you want that dopamine, and we all want that, use it. So what I oftentimes say is, don't use it in your business model. Don't change your business model all the time, but just use it for your content creation. Like you can't be too creative with your content creation, but you can be too creative with your business model. So if you have this freedom product, and you might have to burn through 10 products to find your freedom product. But once you have it, then just be super creative, get the dopamine hits from creating cool material, but not from just changing the business model all the time.
Yeah, you can also do like one-off things. I made this thing up. I was like, hot seat consulting, like pay me for a call or whatever. Like, because I felt it, like I know you have that as well. Like, oh, maybe I'll do this one thing. And that's an entrepreneur thing, that we feel something, want to do it, but it doesn't mean I'm going to always do it. It's like I'll do it with 2 people. Those people end up being long-term clients. So it worked as a lead magnet, but it doesn't mean you have to have 15 products. No. Thanks so much for the interview.
Thank you for having me, and really good getting to know you.
Yeah.